The iPhone 14 Pro is almost a year old. I have used it every day since then, loving the ecosystem, iOS 16 and 17, using its camera, especially its video, and the little quality of life changes because Apple has added a few things that were absent during its launch. Today, I want to review my real-world use, the highs and lows of using the iPhone 14 Pro, and the issues that I have encountered in the last year to help you, the audience, decide if this phone is worth getting or waiting for that brand new iPhone 15 Pro next month. I want to start with the battery life because it's what a lot of people care about. I mean, if a battery is bad, then you just end up charging it more than you use it. When it comes to the 14 Pro, the battery here still holds up pretty well 1 year later. I comfortably get 7 hours of screen time, sometimes 8 if it's just mindless scrolling on the different social media apps. That translates well if you're more of a conservative user. After a year, my battery capacity is still at 100%, which is great, but I have seen reports and heard that some users have about 89 to 93%. That's on the average side, as people use this phone for about 3 to 4 years. I wonder if that's due to the internal issues, or maybe it's just how people charge the phones. I charge mine once a day with a 67-watt charger, which is overkill since the 14 Pro caps at 25 to 27 watts. The display is really good. I thought it was great then, and I still think it's great now. The biggest highlight for me is how bright it gets. Now during winter, I couldn't really tell how bright it was because the sun was never out, but in summertime, the 2000 nits of max brightness are worth having. I can see my display and other apps while outside, and it makes navigation easier. The high refresh rate is still a joy to have, as it makes my phone feel smooth as you go from different app to app. Now to save battery life, the display drops down to 1 Hz when you're staring at the phone due to the LTP of panel. And speaking of panel, there are some iOS 16 bugs that makes the screen non-responsive. You could just be using the phone and it just stops responding. It looks like locking the phone and unlocking it seems to fix this issue, but it's something that Apple hasn't dealt with yet. A few things they fixed is the always on display. Apart from being distracting, on launch, after running a few tests, it was shown that the always on display drained the battery by 6%. With an update, Apple gave the users the option to either turn off the always on display completely or turn off the wallpaper and the notifications. Now I chose neither because, well, I'm a rebel, what can I say? The dynamic island is still a great feature in my opinion. I never thought it was a gimmick, as it does come in handy during timers, Uber Eats deliveries, music I listen to, and calls. Now I must admit it could be better, as it only works for a certain number of apps. Now for a drastic design change between the 13 Pro and the 14 Pro, the dynamic island should be doing way more. I mean, it even has the word dynamic in the name. Hopefully with iOS 17, we might see a change. Performance on the 14 Pro has been consistent the past year, which is no surprise. Whether you're getting this phone to make content, play a ton of mobile games, or just use it for your everyday workflow, it's usually very snappy, and I've had no issues with this performance-wise. The biggest thing relating to performance that most people need to be concerned about is its software. Apart from the aforementioned display freezing, there have been a ton of iOS 16 issues over the last year. From apps crashing, battery percentage not showing when charging, unable to pair AirPods with the phone, and many more. Some may see some of these bugs as minor inconveniences, but after a while, they pile up very fast. Credit to Apple though, they sent out updates pretty quickly to fix some of these issues, so that is good to know. Now apart from iOS 16 bugs, it's still a great operating system. Paired with other Apple devices like your iPad or an Apple Watch and a MacBook, the ecosystem comes alive and delivers a seamless experience. Okay, let's talk about the design because it's one of the most important factors of the phone as you look at it every day. And if you're buying an iPhone for the design, then you already know what you're getting. Nothing has really changed with the body of the iPhone. It's the same square-shaped look with a stainless steel frame. The sharp edges makes the phone without a case very uncomfortable to use after a while, and I've had a Pitaka case for the last few months. Shout out to my boy Fernando Silva for the hookup, and it's made my phone, or made using this phone, a lot easier. Generally, the phone looks stunning, is visually pleasing, and it barely has any scratches on the sides. The back of the phone has a smooth matte finish, and the deep purple color is the best one in my opinion, with the white color a close second. The camera at the back sticks out even more in the 14 Pro, and in terms of its quality, there's not much of a stark difference between this and the 13 Pro. Within the native camera app, I wish Apple followed some Android phones and give us a pro camera mode where we can adjust the shutter speed, ISO, white balance, and many more. There was heavy marketing with the pro camera, but they don't really give us any pro features. Now with a 48 megapixel lens added, 4K cinematic mode, more zoom options, and many more, it had a lot to live up to. I noticed there was more depth of field on the main wide-angle lens. The telephoto lens on the other hand is very good. I use it frequently, especially in portrait mode. The selfie camera on the iPhone is a hit or miss. For some reason, it makes my skin darker than it should be, and it's almost like a one-size-fits-all scenario with its computational photography. It is great that the option to use ProRes and ProRAW is available, but I like how the videos and pictures look right out the gate. I don't feel the need to use any of these options. If I do record video, it's usually in cinematic mode in 4K 30 frames per second to get that good background blur in my shots. I have used this phone to shoot an entire YouTube video, so it does come in handy if you do not want to buy an expensive camera with expensive lenses.
There is a lot of noise, but this is what the camera sounds like on the iPhone 14 Pro in cinematic mode 4K 30. What do you guys think? This is great for that good background blur, and this is just a front-facing camera, and I think the quality is pretty good. What do you guys think? Comment down below and let me know.
All things considered though, this is a solid camera setup and it's still the best when you combine pictures and video. Now I don't really have any issues with it, and for the average consumer, this is all you're going to need in terms of camera quality. Ultimately, my experience with the 14 Pro has been positive. I've had my ups and downs, with my ups being the display, the camera, the design, and the overall use, and my downs when it comes to iOS 16 and its many bugs. Should you buy this right now though? The answer is no, and for two reasons. The first is the iPhone 15 and the 15 Pro is out next month. You should definitely wait and see what the newest iPhone will look like in terms of its design, its new features, and many more. And two, the price of the 14 Pro will drop in September, so if you don't like the 15 Pro for whatever reason, then it'll be cheaper to get the iPhone 14 Pro instead. Having said that, what are you expecting from the iPhone 15 and the 15 Pro? And if you already have the 14 Pro, how are you liking it? Comment down below and let me know. As always, if you enjoyed this video, clicking that like button is the best way to help me out. And subscribe. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.